Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. You know, I draw inspiration from many different places, probably like you do. Um, and I've referred back to it a couple times because of all the things he said, the one thing that stuck with me, Southern Prepper 1, was he was complaining about how some preppers have a really messy place. And that kind of struck home because it was true with regards to me. Another man that I draw a lot of inspiration from on many things, and I have for years, is Pastor Dowell. And if you go to his channel, which I subscribe to it so you can find it on my channel. And I think his latest video is called I Didn't Know the Camera Was On, or something like that. Just go to that video and just look at the grounds in the background. Look at Straightway. It's gorgeous, right? Well, it doesn't just pop out of the ground gorgeous. And so we're carving a homestead, you know, out of the wilderness here at Shofar Mountain. And one of the things I'm trying to do, we built our house right up against the trees. And then in retrospect, I started worrying about forest fire a little bit. And so I'm clearing back, and I cut these two trees down. One was leaning kind of towards the house, and the other one has like a semi-rotten core. Come on, we'll go look at these. But the other thing I'm trying to do is just clean up the place and tame it a little bit, just around the house, you know. Out there in the deep, dark woods, we'll leave those deep, dark woods. But right around the house, I'm aiming for a kind of like a park-like atmosphere. And so, you know, that'll take a while. But these are the trees we cut down because they were leaning too close to the house. And then this one was actually rotten in the middle. This stuff's like peat moss in there. And so this is what it looks like. You know, I've got some cleaning up to do. Not only is it a fire hazard, but it's ugly. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, and I'm also starting to mow. This grass grew once I kind of raked it up a little bit and started mowing. And so grass started to grow all on its own. And so this fall, we're actually going to seed grass and that kind of thing. But right now I'm trying to move rocks and move sticks and limbs. Like we've got a lot of this stuff down from when we cut the tree down. But what we do, here's some pieces. Now this was all green a couple weeks ago. And so I'll split this and store it, and we'll burn this next winter. There's a lot of the tree down right there. This is my wife's temporary clothesline, and as Nick says on Fauchomatic Off-Grid, temporary is permanent. But what I'm doing is I'm stacking sticks, right? And so these sticks all fell out of these trees, and I just gathered them from around here. There's another pile. And I'm stacking them up. Well, we have a rocket stove, and quite frankly, it's just too hot for us to be using it right now. So we're using propane. But once it cools down, we're going to start using it more. And I have these ideas of an outdoor kitchen. Well, in a rocket stove, you don't need like super great wood. We can use this stuff right here, these piles. And so by piling it up like this, it keeps it dry, right? You know, it's not rotting into the dirt. And I have another pile right here that I'm doing. This is all oak, little oak pieces. And then we also use them for kindling to get our fire and our wood stove going during the winter. And I have in my mind, before winter comes, I want to build a permanent woodshed. And right now I'm kind of experimenting with places to do that. I want to have it about 100 feet away from the house for termites and fire. And I want it sited so that it faces east, because most of our bad weather comes from the west, sometimes north, sometimes south, but we never get anything from the east. So I figure I can just leave the east side open. But then that means, you know, it has to be on the west side of the house, right? Well, so I'm working with that. You can see I've been piling up rocks. I've got some ideas for these rocks, rock walls, a cob oven base, make the round thing of wire and just fill it with rocks for like a column or whatever. This is some concrete left over. Our dog Nanook got killed, and so we buried her here and made her little grave. More sticks. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And then the backyard over here, because this is kind of the side yard, if you will. This is more for water drainage right here. This little ditch. But I'm going to come back here and mow probably in about 2 days. I've been weed whacking these down. These are pretty tough. I'm gonna have to get in there with loppers. But I'm trying to grow grass all back in here, and then I'm gonna do something with these rocks, clean them up and make it like a little interesting structure. Maybe put some of those solar lights shining on them at night, you know, just kind of highlight them. Maybe make little benches or something. And then back here, I gotta pick up that feed bag or whatever that is back there. Back here, I want to make this like a park, and I've got a big pile of stacked firewood back there that we'll use this year. More big sticks piled up, and some big trees that we cut down that need to get chopped up. But beauty, you know, it's been hitting me that it's good to have useful plants. And at one time I told the people here, the only plants we're going to plant are useful plants. If it's also beautiful, cool. Like roses. You can get rose hips off of roses, and they're high in vitamin C. And so I said we could plant roses. Well, I've come off of that a little bit. And we're going to buy some plants that are just flowers, right? I'm looking for annual perennials that continue to grow. To just kind of pretty up the place. There's a purpose in having it nice and just looking pretty also. So that's kind of what we're doing. Picking up day prep stuff, getting ready. Been weed whacking the heck out of this place. Next I gotta mow. Whew, sun. All right, I'll see you out there.